What's up, fam? It's Hiro, and welcome to episode 1. So I really wanted to start out these vlogs because I travel a lot, I do a bunch of other things, I love all the instructional videos, all the tutorials, and at the same time, there's not a lot of my personality that comes through in these videos because I'm too busy trying to teach the yogas. So don't mind the voice. I lost my voice screaming too many good vibes while I was in San Diego over the weekend, but my voice is coming back, which kind of leads me to my first point. I really wanted to wait to make these videos until my voice came back, and I thought about how many other times in my life and how often do we wait until the right conditions. And the reality is sometimes that perfection can really prevent us from moving forward in our life. So here we are, voice is a little raspy, maybe I'll sing a little sexy, smooth jazz song. Okay, my voice is a little raspy, but we're gonna do this video anyway. So today I wanted to cover different exercises that you can do if you've been traveling a lot, sitting in a car, going on a road trip, flying a lot. So we're gonna cover that. Before we do any of that though, coffee first. Okay, we're back. I don't know if you can see the steam from this. Oh, steamy. Oh, speaking of which, this is my favorite coffee mug. A good friend of mine gave it to me a while back. Check it out. Who does that look like? It looks like Abraham Lincoln, but it's my face. Aww. And it says Hiro Ham Lincoln. It's the best. Okay. Oh, sweet Jesus, that's hot. Okay, anyway, coffee made. Now, before I actually get into these exercises that are great for when you're traveling, I kind of wanted to share just a little clips, what is this? I wanted to share some clips from my last trip to Austin. Super cool. Got flown out there by Samsung to teach at South by Southwest, so I'm going to share that with you. Let me know if you'd like me to share some more of my travels. I'm traveling a lot this year, teaching workshops all over the world. So hopefully I can meet some of you in person. And check this out. Alright, so I just got here to Austin around midnight last night. Never been to Austin before. I just woke up, got some coffee, and I'm about to go teach at South by Southwest for Samsung. So I'm super excited. If you don't know about it, it's this huge tech festival, music festival, film, all the festivals, just a giant party. So I'm super excited to go and teach. Hopefully the vibe is like we can pump people up and do the yogs. Who says yogs? The yogas. I'm running a little late, so we gotta get going. Let's go. Here at Samsung, we're about to see some yoga, but let's go check it out first. We just did a little bit of yoga to a bunch of locals here, or maybe not locals, I'm not really sure. Check this out. This was my little setup right here. Just doing a little 5-10 minute yoga all throughout the day. I'm gonna be here for a little bit and then we're gonna head out, grab something to eat, check out some of the local food. So, here we go. Samsung. All right, I hope you enjoyed that. I definitely did. I was only there for like less than 24 hours, so I really didn't get a chance to explore. And the traffic over to the airport was super crazy, so good thing I didn't go grab something to eat, which, if anyone knows me, I'm very, very excited about my food. Very serious about my food. Very. So yeah, I was only there for a few hours. I definitely want to go back. Austin seemed really cool. Everyone was super nice, and I definitely want to go back there and maybe teach a workshop. I've only been to Dallas, and that was pretty cool. Fun story, side story. I went there with my cousins once, and back in the day, this was in the 90s, they had those rubber band guns, and I definitely may or may not have shot my cousin in the eye with it. Sorry, dude. So, okay, back to these exercises. Thanks for sticking around if you have done so far. If we are sitting down a lot like I am driving, especially in Los Angeles, I'm driving all the time. It seems like there's more time actually being spent driving from one workplace to the other than there is actually working. So these exercises are going to be really great for bringing some blood flow, bringing some flexibility, as well as maintaining some of that strength or adding strength depending on where you are into your body, into your practice. So let's check some of these exercises out. All right, so when I first get out of the car or the airplane or just in that seated posture for a really long time, first thing I like to do is just stand up and stretch out a little bit, maybe do a little bit of a back bend. Okay, so after that, I got a little bit of back stretch. I got a little bit of a side stretch, stretching my arms up over my head. So the next thing I like to do is to get into my hip flexor a little bit deeper. And I'm gonna teach you some engagements that's really gonna help you access your psoas a little bit more. That way you can stretch out all those muscles that are tight or that were tight when you were sitting down for a long period of time. So don't worry about balance too much. If you need to use the wall or a pole or a chair or a dog or a cat. Okay, for one, I feel like Dr. Seuss, and two, please don't use the dog. I was just kidding. I don't know why that came out of my mouth. That just... So you guys ever just say things that it doesn't really make sense, and then, you know, people judge you, and rightfully so. They should judge you because the stuff that came out of your mouth was just garbage. Anyway, so I'm actually gonna grab a monopod because I just gutted my place, pulled out a whole bunch of photography gear because I plan on shooting a little bit later today. So I'm gonna go grab that in 3, 2, 1. All right, so I got my monopod and let's go open it up. You shall not pass! Okay, all joking aside, grab onto the top of the foot, and I'm very actively kicking into my hand and squeezing my legs together. Now, as much as I'm drawing my heel in, I really want to pull my belly and my ribs in so that I can really get into that hip flexor. And as I'm pulling in, I'm very actively kicking into my hand, and then from here, I'm trying to flex my glute. You can't really see it too much because I got a tiny butt. Minor details, but the more you pull the belly in, the more you're gonna get into that hip flexor. On to the next stretch here. So getting into your shoulders is a great way of stretching out part of your back that's tight. Instead of just sinking down, I'm very actively pressing my hands down into the monopod, trying to flex my arms so that I'm really keeping the muscles engaged that I'm trying to stretch into. Next up is a chest stretch. So similar principles apply. I'm pressing down into the monopod with my hand, and here I'm moving my shoulder a little bit, but really pulling the shoulder blade down the back so that I really open up the front part of my chest. All right, after this, we got a little side body stretch. You know, when you're sitting down for a long time, your side bodies get a little tight and a little stagnant. So I'm very actively pressing down through the foot as I reach up and over. And of course, There's two sides, so you got to do the other side, reaching up and over with the hand, keeping the belly hugging in and really stamping down through that foot on the same side that I'm stretching. Now I got to get rid of this monopod, so here we go. 3, 2, 1. All right, now that I got rid of this monopod, a proserita, wide-legged forward fold, and I always like to find a little bit more movement side to side. Be mindful that you're not dipping that hip over to the side, you're really pulling that opposite hip back so that your hips are nice and level. Very active through both feet, hugging the legs in towards each other. You can always grab onto the outside of the ankle to get a little bit more of a stretch. And then taking the arms up and over for another shoulder chest opener. And here, instead of sinking the shoulders down towards the floor, I'm pulling my shoulder blades back. Nice long back neck there. All right, next up, getting more into the shoulders, especially if you're hunched over a lot. This is gonna be great. Now here, I'm finding little circles with my, oh, hold on. I gotta take off my shirt so that you can really see what's going on. Okay, super dramatic. Okay, so actively pressing the knuckles into my back, and I'm pulling the shoulder blades down my back to start, flexing the biceps, and then taking circles while I'm still actively pressing my hands into the small of my back. You can always shake out your head side to side if that feels good. And then after you're done with that, maybe taking the elbows back as far as you can, taking the hands back, get that internal rotation. Oh, okay, all right, put your shirt back on. Yeah, we can still see you, buddy. That's not weird at all. All right, back on track. So next up, I gotta grab my monopod. So here we go. 3, 2, 1. And now that I got my trusty monopod back, the next stretch that we're gonna do is get into our hips. So from a side view here, I'm coming into a standing figure 4, making sure that that foot isn't pointing, it's flexing, and I'm sitting back into my glutes. If you take a look at my knee, it's relatively right over the ankle as opposed to out in front of the toes. To show you from the front, here's what it looks like. Flexing the foot back towards the knee, finding that dorsiflexion, and I'm moving that knee down towards the ground, flexing my glute. You can always stand up and go for a hip flexor stretch, just slightly different. All right, shaking that off. Next stretch, we're actually gonna come down into a malasana. You don't need your monopod for this or whatever else you're using. The idea is you're pressing down through the heels, actively pressing down through the balls of the feet, stretching out into the ankles, into that Achilles. You can stand up, do a little side stretch, do an air kick. Everyone needs an air kick. And then put your monopod down, don't hurt anybody. And we're back. Okay, so I know some of these stretches feel intuitive, and they exactly are. Whatever places that you're feeling tight and weak in, those are the parts that you want to stretch. Now, the only difference here with what I'm providing for you guys is how you go about doing it. It all comes down to understanding a little bit more of how your body works, and that's what I hope to provide for you guys. I hope you enjoyed this. I definitely did. This was a whole lot more fun and not as daunting as I thought it was going to be. But anyway, thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you liked this video. If you did, hit that like button, leave me a comment. I would love to start interacting with you guys, and of course, tap that bell so that you're notified whenever I do post another video. I will see you guys next time. Okay, that didn't work. I'll see you guys next time. Oh, this is delicious. There's nothing like drinking out of your own face, especially when you're dapper in an old Abraham Lincoln-y kind of way. It's so fancy. What's wrong with being bougie? I don't have a problem with it. I sound like a 15-year-old boy. Hey guys, today we're gonna do some yoga. I've been spending too much time alone. I need friends. What am I talking about?